I'm working hard. I'm doing everything I was taught to do. I went to school. I'm doing this. I have all of these things that were taught to me, yet there felt like there was this skeleton key. And so I remember going to networking events, trying to find place, trying to find belonging, trying to build relationship. And Rolando, I would spend more time navigating, wondering if anybody was going to even acknowledge me.
Mhm.
But whatever I was supposed to glean from the event or whatever the event depicted that they would offer. I was tired of going into spaces and being the only Black person or the only Black woman or it's sprinkles. We can scan the room and identify all of us. And I just remember like, what? Break in a space that don't really feel like they want me here.
That's real.
I feel visibly invisible. And
That's real.
and that's really the space that the Rockstar Woman movement came out of. I realized that some dreams come from inspiration, some things come from observation, some things come from agitation. This was born out of all three. It was that why do I have to feel like I have to contort to be in spaces that don't see value in me? And
Yeah.
then this observation, like when I do go to these spaces, literally nobody was talking to me. Nobody acted like I had anything meaningful to contribute. And then I would look at all of the vendors. By this time, I did own a business. We had services. We were in the product space. And I'm like, how do you become that was one motivation. I want to join some supply chain. How do I get into the supply chain of some of these events? And even the ones built for women, all the vendors were white men. And I'm like, okay, make sense. And so there were all of these skeleton keys, and none of the things that I had been traditionally taught were the lever to access them. Sometimes we overthink. We think things have to be perfect. We think they have to be polished. And really, courage is just the willingness to act on your big idea. And we do that in increments. Sometimes we do that in leaps. I think culturally, as Black folks, we've always been taught don't despise small beginnings. I
Mm.
think we come from people that have always understood the benefit of using what you have where you are, starting with what you have and where you are. And so I think that just feels culturally very natural because I didn't start with sponsors and dollars. I was paying friends in shirts, paying
Yep.
friends in
Yep.
lives.
That's right.
But I have always a friend of mine texted me today who I really respect and admire, and she is another Black woman that leads a social justice organization, and she was like, "I always have respected that you are not afraid to build what you dream. You're not afraid to try it. You're not afraid to bet on you." And I was like, "You're right, this I don't always get it right. Sometimes
Mhm.
this process has taught me a lot. There have been some painful learning moments, but I pray that is one of the things that I'm infusing into the legacy of this work that I wanna believe and bet on you
Yeah.
and bet on your big
Yeah.
ideas, even
Yeah.
seed form, right? Because now you talked about it. There's been visibility to the work, there's been awards to the work. People see numbers, but that is not where this started. And I just think that you've heard me say this in the album. I think one of the greatest travesties that we do is that we shelve our ideas or we incinerate our ideas versus incubate our
Yes.
ideas. And so my hope for
Yes.
every maker on the call is that you will incubate your idea. You will not incinerate them. And probably one of the most tragic ways we incinerate our ideas is we just let them chill out on the shelf and we never activate them.